What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with Wnba Dfs, here to bring you another WNBA slate breakdown for the one-game WNBA slate on a Monday. We normally don't get these on Mondays. It's the one rare thing that happens throughout the season. We finally have a game on a Monday, so no weekly overview today. It's a slate breakdown, and we're going to get right into it. If you're new here and you're enjoying this content, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the stuff that I'm putting out. As you see on the screen, we're putting out winners. Yesterday, the breakdown that I did, I talked a lot about the players that I was going to be on, the players that were in the prime spots, GPP plays. I was on the road yesterday, so I only played GPPs, made a GPP line, and it crushed. I am a little sad and upset at myself. I didn't play in the big $15 5K up top like I normally do. And of course, the one time I don't, I would have smoke checked it and took down over, close to 6K in winnings yesterday if I would have played. But nonetheless, I'm still happy with what I played. I won over $500 something off of 50 something bucks that I played yesterday. So still, all in all, a very good day. Bankroll management like always, and not going to spend it all in one place, especially not on a showdown slate. But if you guys want to, get more winnings, get stuff like this right here, make sure you guys subscribe so you're not missing out any of the content. Check the links down below for the Patreon, because this is where my core plays, my player pools, and other breakdowns and stuff, not only for myself, but BK, who is also very good at the WNBA himself as well. He put up his props and all that stuff. All that is down, linked in the description below for only 10 bucks, and I promise you, you make that back clearly within your first week, man. I'm telling you. But like I said, we got a one-game slate today. Looking forward to it. It's a game that we've already seen twice now. I wish that it was a better game on the slate for today. I'm not gonna lie. I wish it was a better game. But it is the Fever taking on the Las Vegas Aces again. They just played not too long ago. I want to say it was 2 days ago. We just seen the same matchup. Injury report, same as always. Nothing really new here in regards to who was out and who was in for either team. Raquan Williams, doesn't really matter about her being there. Berger, doesn't really matter about her being here. We just want to focus on making sure the starters are going to play and they are good to go and they are here. Today, I actually have a treat for you guys. I have gotten access to my FanDuel account. So I will be able to put out FanDuel content again for you guys. So I will be going over the FanDuel slate for the first time, truly actually pulling it up and going over it. Now, if you guys don't have a FanDuel account and you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys can get that deposit match bonus and be able to double your winnings over here on the FanDuel. We will play this together. Now, I will give a very quick disclaimer for this. I normally do not play on FanDuel, but I do know the WNBA. I don't play on FanDuel because the contest sizes are not great. You got a $9 entry fee for 6K, and it's only 1K up top to first. I have always hated the style that FanDuel has over here. That's why I primarily play on DK. Not to say there's not no money to be made over here on FanDuel, so we'll dig into it and we'll figure it out over here as well. And we'll go over DraftKings once again too. Over here on FanDuel, they have the MVP, the star, and the pro spots for their showdown type slates. MVP gets 2x, unlike DraftKings where we only have a captain and they only have to get 1.5x. On FanDuel, they do not change the pricing for any of the positions. Everybody's pricing stays the same. You just still have to go ahead and use the whole 40K salary that you have over here, unlike DraftKings where the price changes as well. So that's some of the differences in between the sites. Now the players, of course, are still going to be the same. Looking at it, going over it in your MVP slot, as always, if you feel like the Fever will be able to keep this game close, you don't think that it's going to be a crazy game, which let's go ahead. Let's see if Line Star has the game is a 171 total with a 15-point spread in favor of the Aces, of course. So the Fever are not expected to win, but we've seen that in the game last time playing the other day, they kept it close, which was a lot of it was due to Aaliyah Boston and Alyssa Smith being able to pop off and do what they did. Now, I personally would not put them into an MVP slot. I would look for them more to go into a star or a pro slot if I'm using that, because if the Fever are able to stay in this game, that means one of their players, at least one, is having a pretty decent game and is doing something for them. Aaliyah Boston last time out, which she surprised me. I'm not going to lie. She dropped 40.8 fantasy points in this spot. She put 18 points, 9 rebounds, 1 block, 3 steals. Looked very good out there. Looked like she learned from the last time, and she saw her 30 minutes. Unlike the first time when they played, she only played 22, and that was due to foul trouble. Now, if Boston can go out here, again, keep her hands to herself and show as dominant as what she was last time, take it to Asia, she definitely will be in consideration for what I would think a star or a pro spot. The only reason why I wouldn't put any of the Fever between Boston or Alyssa Smith, who went out here, she had a very good game herself, 34 minutes, 46.2 fantasy points, pretty much kind of on par to what she did the first time, 27 minutes, 23.3 fantasy points. So she's given us a good chunk, a good range in regards to what she's doing. The only reason why I wouldn't put them in there is if it blows out. Like I said, when it comes down to the Aces, they're the one team that I can kind of predict if they're going to blow somebody out, which normally they do. They did. They scored 101 in that game going up against the Fever last time. And the Fever only scored 88 points. They kept, Kelsey Mitchell in check. Erica Wheeler didn't have a great game. Kristen Wallace, all of them, it wasn't anything to write home about. And of course, the Aces, they popped off. We know that we always target the starting five for the Aces because they just do what they do. Asia Wilson is going to be the primary target that we're going to be looking to at the MVP spot. She dropped 49.5 fantasy points, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. I honestly feel like she probably could have had 4 or 5 blocks. That's just how dominant she is out there when she is on the court. And what I would be definitely looking forward to, and who I would consider putting in my my MVP spot over here on FanDuel. Last time against the Fever, she went out here, she dropped 62 fantasy points. Honestly, just looking at everybody, she's pretty consistent, and this is a good matchup for her. Once again, I would expect her to be highly owned in that MVP spot. So I see no reason not to go back here to Asia in this position. And she's probably more likely to be the most owned MVP player. Unless you feel like Jackie Young's going to somehow pop off for something different. Chelsea Gray, bounce back spot. She was mid-level. She dropped 42.6 fantasy points. Sorry, thinking of someone else. She dropped 42.6 fantasy points in this spot versus them. And then the first time she dropped 42 as well. So can't go wrong with Chelsea Gray. And then coming down, I know that Candace Parker, she actually did pretty good. Dropped 23.5 in the first one. She dropped 15. So out of all of them, you got your weak link right there in Candace Parker if you don't want to play somebody from the starting five. So you can definitely go with Jackie. You can go with Plum. You can go with Gray. Jackie, 34 minutes, dropped 28 fantasy points the first game, 34-28. So she's pretty consistent in what she gave us. So kind of a floor game from Jackie, honestly. So we might be able to get a pop-off spot for Jackie in this. And then Plum, 31 minutes, dropped 28.5. And then the first time, 32, she dropped 21.9. So really, we don't got to play with the guards besides Chelsea Gray. And I personally, just because I'm a Jackie lover in regards to what she can go out there and do, Wilson, Jackie, Chelsea Gray will be my top 3 choices in plays if I'm going with anything from the Aces. Of course, Plum, GPP, Candace Parker, she could pop off if she wants to. Definitely could look there. MVP slot, that's going to be just taken for me by Asia. And then at the star, it'll either be Jackie or Chelsea Gray. Definitely 2 spots that you can go there. Or we can go with the Aaliyah Boston or Nalissa Smith, whichever one you think is going to have that pop off. Smith, she looked very good out there last time. And if you feel like Boston, possible foul trouble, something like that, I could definitely see just going with Smith right here in that star spot. Now, if you're worried about that and instead you rather go with the pro, you could definitely put Boston or Nalissa in the pro spot. This is what kind of makes FanDuel so different and so important because there's no pricing change for any of these players for any of these positions. So someone might have Aaliyah Boston in the pro spot and then they put Chelsea Gray in the star spot. Chelsea Gray pops off and Boston pops off, but yet because Chelsea is in the star spot, she's going to do more, and that's going to help them out much better in the long run. So you really just got to pick your poison in regards to how you feel like this is going to go out. Now, the biggest thing, of course, that we got to worry about, we got all these stars, we got all the studs, we got to talk about the value. Coming down here, looking at the value, the bottom of the pillar, not touching any of these. I feel like the game will be close enough. It's not necessarily going to be down to the wire. Maybe the first game went down to the wire, but it's not going to be blowout city. We've seen at the Fever, they can hang. And if they get a better game from Kelsey Mitchell than what they got the first time, they could definitely be more in this game. That's what's going to matter. So these normal ones right here, these are the blowout queens. We're not worried about these blowout queens right here. Maya, last game, it looked like she really lost her minutes that she had, and that was really due Victoria Vivens. She's back. She was playing. She was good. Vivens went out there, and she played a decent number of minutes out there. Cannon, she's not really going to get burned unless Queen, Boston, any of them, they're in foul trouble or someone gets injured or something like that. So both of these players, another one, they're going to be added to the blowout queens. Not going to worry about them. Queen, GPP hit or miss. She's going to get the run if Boston gets in foul trouble. Boston's not in foul trouble. Queen's not going to go out there and get her minutes and stuff. So another one, you can play the game script. What do you think is going to happen in regards to that? I'm not feeling it. I trust Boston more now after watching a couple of her games, seeing that she's starting to get it. She's really getting her timing down and stuff like that, right? Don't have no problem just sticking with Boston. Queen, she'll ride the bench. Maybe I'll look at her on DraftKings instead. Over here now, going to Victoria Vivians. First game, she played 15 minutes. She dropped 19.2 fantasy points versus them. Coming back from an injury, 18 minutes, 2.2 fantasy points. GPP play right here because we know if her shot is falling, she's doing a lot. Everywhere else, she can rebound. She can do a lot. GPP play, I will have her in the player pool, but not someone that I feel like I have to run to. Kristen Bell, she comes out there, she's a gunner. If her shot isn't doing anything, she's not going to do anything for you at all whatsoever. She's played low minutes in both the games versus the Fever. Not someone that I'm going to. As a matter of fact, we can pull up the minutes. This is what we can actually look at. Let's see, team trends. Pull up the minutes, looking at the minutes that the Aces played, Las Vegas. In both of these games, of course, we see the starters. Candace, she's going to go out to get her 23, 24 minutes. And then, of course, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Asia Wilson, they're going to get their burn. Same thing last time. Heavy minutes. Only one, Plum, she really just hasn't done nothing with the minutes that she's getting out there. So Plum, of course, like I said, is going to be the oddball out. Now, when you come down to the bench, Clark and Stokes, they're going to be your two that we're going to see are going to really get that burn and run. And that's much more of what I expect here in this spot once again. That's why coming up, I'm going to be looking at Clark. Sitting here at 5'5", definitely someone that I feel we can go to. 16 minutes, drop 12.2 fantasy points. I promise you, Clark is going to be owned inside that util spot because she's the value. Same thing for Stokes. And I spoke on this last time with Stokes. Stokes, she has that rebound upside, but she has the block upside. You got two players in Smith and Boston that like to get in there to the rim. The guards like to slash to the rim as well for the Fever. Stokes, she gets those blocks. Last time going up against them, 17 minutes, she only gave us 5.6. This is more kind of what I believe for her. I know she's not going to go out there and score. She's not going to do too much on that end, but she rebounds very well, and that's why I do have some interest in Stokes right here for that 6K. Now, if we want the upside for the scoring and a little bit of defensive upside that can come, we'll look at Clark, who is 500 cheaper. Maybe that might be able to get someone else inside of your line that you want to look at, but we got to consider both of these players right here. Erica Wheeler is the toss-up. Both games going up against them, she's at least put up close to 19, 20 fantasy points. Maybe this could be the game that she finally does it. Her scoring, she popped off of 15 in the first one, only 4 in this one. Now, the assist numbers have definitely taken off for her over the past several games. That's a very good improvement, especially when you're able to dish down to Aaliyah Boston and Alyssa Smith. Looks great. We're expecting good games from both of them. Wheeler will have to be into consideration. She's not a must-play personally for me, but she's going to have to be into consideration. Like I already said, I'm very high on at least stacking in 3 to 4 of the Aces players and then trying to figure out which one of my pieces from the Fever I'm going to want to fit. And more than likely, it's going to be between Boston and Alyssa Smith that I'm going to be looking at. Kelsey Mitchell, she's hit or miss because, again, if she's not scoring, she's not doing much for you out there. A lot of her production comes from her scoring for her on these slates. Wallace, I will have some interest. Her minutes have been trending up already. Her first game going up against the Aces, 28 minutes, she only gave us 9.9 fantasy points. She popped in that last game. 25 minutes gave us 20.2 fantasy points. Definitely going to be someone that I'll have on the radar and have to consider. Now, Lexi Hull is the wild card because last game, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Look at her game logs. She ain't played 30 minutes all season. Popped off for 24.8 fantasy points. 15 points in that game. I'm not going to really expect her to go off for 15 again. Again, if you're shutting down Kelsey Mitchell, someone else is going to have to score. Someone else is going to have to do something. And I feel like Lexi, she was just in a prime spot, good spot last time out there. They might adjust, maybe, but she is putting up kind of a fantasy point per minute going up against the Aces right now. In 10 minutes, she dropped 10.1 fantasy points. Another one that we can consider. I'm pretty sure people will flock to that right there. All in all, like I said, FanDuel is very different in regards to building on these type of showdown slates. So picking your poison and how exactly you want to build on this is what it's going to actually come down to. Your MVP, just go ahead and put Asia into that spot. That's who I will be playing inside the MVP. I have a core up for you guys later for FanDuel along with DraftKings and my player pool on the Patreon site. And if you're wanting that, check the link down in the description below for the Patreon. You guys will see that there for today. And pretty much I gave you a free square. It's the freest square of all. Just go ahead, put Asia into the starting lineup unless they decide to rest some players or something like that. Going over to DraftKings again, where we always know you're putting that captain spot right there, 1.5x. Same thing, the price changes for that over here, and then you're filling in the rest. If you guys don't have a DraftKings account, you want to win over here with me, you want to go ahead and cash out on this money, check the link down in the description below so you can get that deposit match bonus and come over here and join me on the King. Now, I've already talked about it a lot over there for the FanDuel on their side. MVP, captain spot, of course, is going to be Wilson, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray. I'm looking at the four main starters that I always consider for the Aces whenever they're on the slate. 4 main starters. Now, you can get different if you think that, oh, Boston is going to destroy. Boston's going to pop. Boston's going to just destroy this slate. Maybe you can go to Boston right here. Now, She played 31 minutes last game, gave us 37.25 fantasy points over here on DraftKings. A'ja Wilson, she played 30 minutes, dropped 50.5 fantasy points. 9 times out of 10, A'ja's going to be your top fantasy scorer out here on the slate. And I will have to consider that just looking at it. Just being honest. I'm going to talk more on the util spots. Whatever aces that you don't put into the starter, into your captain spot, I will look to put them into here. We already know where the concentration of minutes, where the production is going to come from that starting line, from everything. Kelsey Plum is pretty much your wild card when it comes down to it on whether or not am I going to play Kelsey Plum, am I not? Is this going to be the Kelsey Plum game that she pops off and comes out here and she drains 5 for 5 from 3? She put up 30 fantasy points over here in the 32 minutes that she played. So looks much better over here on FanDuel. I mean, on DraftKings than she did on FanDuel. Jackie Young, 29.5 fantasy points in 34 minutes. If you feel like you can get the savings by coming down to Kelsey Plum over Jackie Young, I can see that. It's a $600 savings, definitely worth a look and consideration. Down here, again, the blowout queens, I'm not going to worry about them. Lexi Hull, of course, sitting at 3.8. I'll have to consider that because she's sitting at 3.8 and she starts. She gets the minutes. Definitely in consideration. Stokes at 4.8, of course, once again. And then Clark. Clark is more over here at 5.6. So we got the opposite over here on DraftKings than we did on FanDuel. So maybe on DraftKings, we go more of a Stokes. Over on FanDuel, we go with Clark. Consideration, things that we got to think about whenever we're looking at both of the sites versus just looking at one. Again, I pretty much touched on everything already when I went over the FanDuel. So I'll have the core out for both of these sites. I'll have my player pool up for both of these sites. You guys will get all of that stuff. Again, if you guys are wanting to see that stuff, make sure you guys check the link down in the description below so you guys can get the that deposit match bonus. Let's check over on PrizePicks, see if they actually have the slate fully up. Okay, they finally do. Now, I'm going to be honest. Straight up, right away, I'm going, they got it bumped up to 22.5. They didn't have this up earlier, but I'm going right back to the well. She popped off in that first one, was scoring out the behind to start the slate, rebounding, and then she got a couple blocks and stuff like that. Practically almost went over her first half fantasy score in that first quarter. So I knew she was going to have a good day. I'll go right back to A'ja Wilson, especially because I feel like she's going to be able to do the same thing here in this spot. So that'll be, of course, another free square for you over here on PrizePicks if you guys are looking for something over here. Now, I do also like Jackie Young. She's 1 fantasy point lower than what she was last time out here on the slate. She was sitting at 17.5. No, she was sitting at 17 last time. She's at 16.5. I still like her here at the 16.5. Definitely feel like she can go over that once again in this spot. And if you're feeling like Boston or Nalissa Smith and you're in agreement with me that they will have pretty decent games, I don't mind going with Nalissa Smith or going with Aaliyah Boston for their PRAs. Both of these, matter of fact, I'll go ahead. I feel like Boston. She's going to come out here. She's going to do her thing. She's going to do what she just did. I'll go ahead and I'll play this one. So here goes a free square, free power 2 that you can run over here on PrizePicks. You don't got a PrizePicks account? Check the link down in the description below so you can get that $100 deposit match bonus and play over here on PrizePicks as well with me. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. Make sure you guys subscribe so you do not miss anything else. With that being said, it's your boy Zoe. I hope to see you guys in the green. See you tomorrow for the 3-game slate. We're going to break that one down too and cash out on these winnings and enjoy what the W is putting out for us.